Dude, you forgot to record the video questions.
Oh shit.
Whew. Thank goodness I made it. Now it's time for the most important part of the video questions. Alright, so let's get started with some questions. The first question, what are your top 2 choices of instrument? I would say my first choice is snare and my second choice is bass. What year in school will you be in the fall, and what year do you anticipate graduating? So I'm going to be a senior in the fall, and I'm going to graduate right after that, so spring 2027. Why do you want to play on the Illinois drumline? If I could say it in 2 words, it would be the people. But just to elaborate a bit more on that, when I came in my freshman year, I was really nervous and wondering if I would fit in, but I was welcomed with open arms. And one of the things I realized is the amount of cohesion, the amount of belonging that I felt in the Illini drumline, I've never really felt anywhere else in any other activity or any other club. So I feel like that's something that's very important to me, and it's something the Illini drumline has done really well in these past years. At least on the academic side, the Illini drumline takes my mind off things. I think, especially when you have midterm season and a bunch of different projects going on for computer engineering, things get super hectic. But when I go to drumline rehearsal and we just start drumming, everything else clears from mind. You're just locked in and focused on what you need to do and how to become better at that craft, which for us, it's drumming, right? So I think the drumline has done a really good job of just easing my mind off other things, especially if there's a bunch of other stuff going on in the background. As soon as I start drumming, I'm just locked in and focused. So I think I really want to be a part of the Illini drumline, not only because it helps me focus, but more importantly, because the people I'm drumming with are really important to me as well. So both of those factors play into it. What is your marching experience? And if you could give your past self advice about marching, what would it be? Include where at and on what instruments. So my marching experience started in high school, freshman year at Victor J. Andrew High School. I started out on rack in the front ensemble, and then sophomore year I moved on to marching toms or flubs. Junior year I played snare, and senior year I played snare. Coming into Illinois, freshman year I played snare, sophomore year I played snare, and junior year I played snare as well. So all 3 years here have been on snare. And if I could give myself, my past self, advice, something I would say would be to just keep on grinding. I think one of the hardest parts about marching Illini and just marching band in general is that you have constant rehearsal over and over again. There's going to be days that suck. There's going to be days that you're not going to feel motivated. There's going to be days that you're not feeling like you're a good player at all in comparison to the people around you. But what I would just say to my past self is don't worry about that, right? Because you're there to get better for yourself, right? Take any critique you have and use it and learn it instantly, right? Because you need to get better and get better. And I think another thing I've learned is that my teachers who have taught me how to become a better drummer and the teachers who have taught them have all been in my position before, right? Everybody's been through this process, and I think that's the amazing thing about drumming. It's all a process, right? On how you can become better, right? Because the only competition you have is yourself, right? And I think that's that's probably the biggest advice that I would give my past self, just to keep being better and keep being locked in on the craft. Keep iterating, and then keep focusing on things that you can do better. Tell us a fun fact about yourself. So I don't remember the exact situation, but essentially it was a big event with a bunch of people when I was really young, and they actually had a wildlife guy over there, and he brought one of his alligators to the event, and I got to ride on an alligator. So I thought that was pretty cool. Basically, it walked a little bit as I rode on it, so that was pretty awesome. Would you rather live 100 years in the future or 100 years in the past? I would say 100 years in the future, because I believe the advancements that we're going to get in science and technology are just going to be amazing, especially in the medical field. We're probably going to be able to cure some diseases that we're not able to cure right now. I think artificial intelligence is going to advance and improve, in some ways negative, but also a lot of ways positive to benefit humanity as well. So I would say I would live 100 years in the future because of the advancements humanity is going to be able to make. So yeah, that's all I got. You got anything? No? Alright then. We'll see you in the next video.